go ahead and get started. I want to thank everyone for coming out for the Grant County Fiscal Court meeting on Tuesday, June 18, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. We're going to ask Colton Simpson to do the invocation for us with the Fiscal Court. And then after that, if everyone could continue to stand for the pledge.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the day. We thank you for the opportunity to gather today, Lord. We thank you for the guests, and we just ask tonight for wisdom, and may you give our leaders the grace to make good decisions, and Lord, may we be in your will, Lord. And it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. If I can have Pat call roll.
Magistrate Humphrey.
Present.
Magistrate Riley.
Present.
Magistrate Codon.
Present.
And Judge Dills.
Present. Everyone's present. We'll get started first. We have an honor to have a special guest. We have Commissioner Gray Tumlin with the Department of Transportation. Along with him is Nick Vanover. He's a representative with the Department of Transportation. And then also we're honored to have our state representative Savannah Maddox with us. So we're well represented by the state. Commissioner, if you want to come up to the mic here, and that way they can get you on recording.
Well, Judge, Fiscal Court, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be with you this evening. I just want to say that I believe that Secretary Thomas was here during one of your Fiscal Court meetings to talk about infrastructure needs. When I was appointed to this position last year, Governor Bevin made it very clear to me that I was to work with local officials across the Commonwealth to address critical infrastructure needs. And I know almost every county has limited funding, and at the state level we have limited funding. But we also have a lot of infrastructure to take care of, and if you look at Kentucky and let's say Tennessee, we basically have the same square mileage, but we have double the bridges and double the highway miles. We have over 14,000 bridges, 53,000 county road miles, and 27,000 state highway miles. So there's a lot to take care of. I want to say today is a great day for Grant County, because today the citizens of Grant County can see the fruits of a working relationship between their county officials and officials in Frankfort. And working with officials such as yourselves is number one priority for Governor Bevin. And Judge, Fiscal Court, I appreciate working with you. I appreciate the contact that you've had with our office to try to address some of your infrastructure needs. And so I want to announce today that it's with great pleasure that Grant County has been awarded $662,500 in discretionary funding for resurfacing for State Schoolhouse Road, Lincoln Ridge, Baton Rouge, and Elliston Napoleon. And Judge, Fiscal Court, I know you'll continue to work hard to make Grant County the best version of itself, and I can guarantee you that Governor Bevin will continue to work his tail off to continue to bring the economic success and development that the Commonwealth of Kentucky deserves. And I appreciate your hospitality and being with you this evening.
Well, we appreciate you coming down personally and giving us that award. It means a lot, and these roads as across the state are in need of a lot of repair, and that's going to be a great help for our county.
Yes.
Well, you know, it starts today, but it doesn't end today, right?
Right.
I know there's continued needs, and I'm just a phone call away, a short drive away. Nick, just a short drive away. If you ever need anything, please don't ever hesitate to give us a call, and we'll try to help out as much as possible.
Thank you.
Well, we know that firsthand, and,
Yeah.
and Nick's met with us several times, and it's been a joy to work with you, and we appreciate everything you and the governor's office is doing for us.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank
Have
you.
a good evening.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, hallelujah. Like an amen or something.
Yes. Okay, moving down. Approval of the minutes. Need to present a motion to approve the minutes dated June 4th, 2019.
Having read the minutes, I make a motion to approve such dated June 4th, 2019.
I'll second.
I have a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving down to fiscal matters. Present for review a motion to approve the claims drawn on the general fund, the road fund, the jail fund, dated June 18, 2019, along with transfers as presented.
Judge, I got a, yeah, I do have a correction I discussed with Pat earlier, going through
Okay.
the claims. At the end of the general fund, the amount we'll be approving will be $87,186.48 instead of .28.
Okay, the correction noted.
I make a motion that we approve the claims submitted on the general fund, the road fund, and the jail fund as submitted with the corrections.
I will second.
I have a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, present for a motion to void check number 27420 payable to Robert Morgan in the amount of $180 for meals at training. Deputy Morgan paid with his credit card and check was unnecessary. Just for a note on his misunderstanding, he didn't realize that he had a check coming for it, so he had paid on, obviously on the credit card, and once the check was issued, it was already paid, so we just need a motion to avoid that check.
I'll make a motion we void check number 27420 payable to Robert Morgan in the amount of $180 for meals for training. Due to the fact that Deputy Morgan paid with his credit card, the check was not necessary.
I second.
I have a second. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Any,
Jonathan seconded.
yes.
Yeah.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, present for a motion upon the recommendation of Peggy Updike, Gray K. Treasurer, to grant permission if necessary to transfer funds to cover the final payroll period of June 28, 2019, and to transfer funds from the general fund to the jail fund to make the July 1st jail bond payment by wire transfer. Being it's the end of our fiscal year, as you know, this is common that need to transfer from general fund to our jail fund or other road fund, or other funds to finish out the fiscal year.
Is this, I see we don't have a sheet on that. Is there
No,
a...
because Shauna, she doesn't know how much it's going to be
Okay,
yet.
I just wondered if...
So a
Yeah.
blanketed,
It's a blanket, so...
And she'll just
And I think
email
everyone
us that
received the
sheet.
email. We just, as of today, or tonight, the transfer will be in on the jail.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was actually anticipating whether we would get that or not. So I don't think it's much probably about the payroll as it
Okay.
is on the bond on the jail.
Okay. It's just an undetermined amount until we can...
That's correct.
Sure. I make a motion upon the recommendation of Treasurer Peggy Updike to grant permission to transfer the funds to cover the final payroll for June the 28th and to transfer funds from the general fund to the jail fund to make the July 1st jail bond payment via wire transfer as necessary.
I'll second.
I have a second. If there's no further discussion, all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving down to ordinances. Item number 1 on the ordinances is present for a first reading of ordinance number 06-2019-0229. It's an ordinance relating to the authorization and regulating peer-to-peer short-term home rentals in Grant County, Kentucky, along with the notice to be posted in the local paper showing a second reading to be held on June 28th. That'd be at one of our special meeting at 3 p.m. or as soon as thereafter as possible. I think we're all familiar with this ordinance. We've been working hard on it with planning and zoning. Stephen Bates has put a lot of work into getting that, and a lot of discussion we've had as a court on things that we definitely want to put in our ordinance and also on our requirements for Airbnbs in our county. which is very well needed.
Thank you both for the due diligence and the multiple conversations that you've had with revisiting that and collecting the best of the best out there to get us prepared for the days ahead and to also address what's actively going on. So thank you for that.
Okay, that will present for our first reading. Also, you want me to jump down to the 10th minute on it?
I think I would.
Okay. Item number 5, it's on our additions of the agenda. This plays hand in hand with that ordinance. Number 5 is present for a first reading ordinance number 09-2019-0232. It's a text amendment relating to short-term vacation rentals, dwelling units including single-family dwellings, two-family dwellings, modular for manufactured homes for rent, as lodging on daily or weekly basis. This shall not include recreational vehicles or campers. Owners must have a valid application on file with the legislative body for each rental. And this will be on the text amendment.
It actually changes the text on in the planning and zoning in the planning and zoning office.
And we'll be advertising that also, correct?
Yes.
Is that correct, Steve?
So as a follow-up, the Planning Commission approved the text amendment, and this is adopting their recommendation for approval of the text amendment such that those are read basically as a tandem ordinance. The ordinance approving the text amendment along with the ordinance for the peer-to-peer or short-term rentals. So they need to be done at the exact same time, for lack of a better phrase.
Okay. Any questions on that? Moving down to number 2, another ordinance that's been a long time coming, and I want to commend Shauna for her hard work on this, and also Peggy for what she's done on getting this. This is going to be on the first reading of ordinance number 07-2019-0230. It's an ordinance amending the Grant County Administrative Code, along with the notice to be posted in local papers showing a second reading to be held on June 28, 2019 at 3 p.m. or soon thereafter as possible. Any questions?
Is a motion's not required on this yet, is it?
No, not
Okay, that's
till
what I thought, first
on the
reading. Okay.
28th. And just so the audience knows, this ordinance is one we're updating from 1999 on the administrative code of the county. So there was a lot of things that's changed over a period of time that need to be updated. So it's quite a bit of time's been put into it. So moving down to number 3, presenting a motion and approval of ordinance number 08-2019-0231. It's an emergency amendment for funding for repairing a road slippage on Eagle Tunnel Road. Due to the heavy spring rains, several emergency road repairs, a lack of sufficient revenue in the current road fund, an invoice for Eagle Tunnel Road is due on or before June 22, 2019, making an emergency amendment necessary. And this is so that they had just fixed the second slippage on Eagle Tunnel, and we need to get the vendor paid on this, which is GSI. And due to the fact that we have quite a few road slippage monies with FEMA and the state out for reimbursement, we're needing to transfer into the road fund to pay the invoice.
I'm going to make a motion for approval of ordinance number 08-2019-0231. It's an emergency amendment for funding for repairing a road slippage on Eagle Tunnel Road due to the heavy spring rains, and several emergency road repairs and lack of sufficient revenue is in the current road fund. An invoice for the Eagle Tunnel Road is due on or before June 22nd, 2019. Making this an emergency amendment necessary.
I will second.
I have a second. If there's no further questions, all in favor by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, that was Roger and Jacqueline.
Yes. Moving down to new business, item number 1, present for a motion to accept the Grant County Sheriff Brian Main's final settlement of taxes as confirmed by Willie Dale Lawrence, auditor for 2018 tax year. Everyone had an opportunity to look, everything
Yeah.
checked out good, and we appreciate Willie Dale Lawrence doing that for the fiscal court, reviewing the final settlement after the state auditors looked at it.
I'll make a motion to accept the Grant County Sheriff Brian Main's final settlement of taxes as confirmed by Willie Dale Lawrence, auditor, for the 2018 tax year.
I will second.
I have a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, present for a motion to declare as surplus to the needs of the county those items listed in Exhibit B, and for the list of items to be added to the auction that will be held on Saturday, June 29, 2019, at the Grant County Road Department. And what this item is, this is a log splitter that was used by the 109 board that is no longer being used after we declared surplus a number of weeks ago preparing for this auction. It was brought to my attention by Brian Miles that he's no longer needing it, so we wanted to go ahead and get this on this large auction.
Is it usable?
The log splitter? Yes, it's a working log splitter. But he says he no longer,
I mean, but would the jail have use for it, like in their, like the Class D program? I mean, I bet we won't get much.
I mean, I don't know how much use we would have for it, to put it in our program is gonna be set.
and I think that's the problem. I think it's still
Okay.
of value now, and it's a nice log
Okay.
splitter. So I need a motion to declare it surplus.
Make a motion to declare as surplus to the needs of the county those items listed in Exhibit B, and for this list of items to be added to the auction that will be held on Saturday, June the 29th, 2019, at the Grant County Road Department.
I will second.
I have a first, I have a second by Jacqueline. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, under new business, present for a motion to accept the letter from the Grant County Conservation District Board of Supervisors setting the tax rate of 0.01 cents per $100 of assessed value for taxing districts for the 2019-2020 fiscal year.
I'll make a motion to accept the letter from the Grant County Conservation District Board of Supervisors setting the tax rate at 0.01 cents per $100 of assessed value for the taxing district for the 2019-2020 fiscal year.
I second.
I have a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4, and we've got a narrative of the reason we're bringing this back. When we did the materials for sand, rock, and asphalt surfacing for the Grant County Road Department on the bids, and as I read this, you'll understand, present for a motion to grant permission for myself, Judge Executive Chuck Dills, to advertise for rebid for the asphalt surfacing and base for the Grant County Road Department. Narrative: due to an oversight, not all vendors were notified of the bidding dates and times, and in fairness and to all possible vendors, the court has determined that the surface base asphalt shall be rebid. All possible vendors will be notified at that time and date, and for all the bids to be resubmitted. And sort of the backstory on it, I was notified by Mike Regler, the owner of Regler Blacktop, who normally bids on all of our blacktop needs. Wasn't aware of the bid, and normally we send out by mail or email to the vendors that we know that would bid on it, and for whatever reason, he didn't receive it. And we think just because of the relationship we've had with our vendors, that it would only be fair to place that back out for rebid and let these, all the vendors rebid on it again.
Chuck, was the email never sent, or the email was sent, he just didn't get it on his, and just out of curiosity? That's all.
You know, Jacqueline, I'm not sure. I went back and looked, and I could not find where I sent the email. Normally, I would send
Yeah, I know that you
Mike an email, but I can't sit here and say that I did
Okay.
it because I could not find it in my history of emails.
And to defend her a little bit, as busy as we've been in the office, I don't know
Oh,
how
it's not
she.
any, I was just
Yeah,
curious
no,
if
I'm
it was
just
that it was not sent
saying
or,
it-
because ask Colton how many issues I've had with our little internet,
Yeah.
server.
So,
piece,
and he always bid, it was, the comment was even made after we received the bids, Steve Tatum.
I even asked.
Yeah,
him, I
and
was like, oh,
yourself
this is-
was curious why Wrigglers didn't bid on it, because normally our main bidders are Wrigglers, Bluegrass, and Eaton on their asphalt needs. So, I mean, the only way I think probably be fair is to rebid it and let them resubmit their bids, and that way it gives Wriggler the opportunity, as he has in the past, to bid on the asphalt needs for us.
I'm going to make a motion to grant permission for the Judge Executive Chuck Bills to advertise for a rebid for asphalt surface and base for the Grant County Road Department.
I will second.
I have a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving down to, under Grant County Jailer Mike Webster, he's here. We have item number 1 is present for motion to accept the medical contract for QCHC of Kentucky for the Grant County Detention Center effective July 1, 2019, and also want to grant permission for myself and Jailer Mike Webster to sign an agreement as such. And I think what Mike's going to be presenting, and I won't steal any of his thunder, is we have 2 options. One option is full medical with pharmaceutical needs in that contract, and the second contract is removing the pharmaceutical needs, and we do something different on that end, and he'll explain more detail. The floor is yours, Mike.
Thank you all. So judges, they get a copy of both?
Yes, they
Yes.
have a copy of everything, Mike.
To me, as I look at it, the return factor on the medicine, the no RX contract is the best rate to go, because we're going to get maximum amount of service for our money. And is also, the vendor's so much closer, it's going to be so much quicker, and he's going to give us credit for everything we don't use, where the old vendor only gives us credits for any medication that's not dispensed from the pack itself. So basically, it has to be never opened or looked at, where this vendor is going to give us for each individual unopened blister pack. You can see the price difference. I don't know, looking at how much medication we send back for no credit is alarming. I don't see, when you look at the price difference, it's pretty much right there, you know, nickel for nickel. I just don't see how we can't help but gain from that.
Well, we keep our money local, too.
Yes. Yes. Do you guys have any questions on the contracts you looked at? Do you want me to explain more
I
about them?
appreciate, on behalf of the taxpayer, going back and revisiting that portion of the contract, because at that point in time, you would have been in the audience, and I think if we want to replay prior conversations, we wrestled with that for a long time, and I don't think many of us thought that that was the best option to go, but that was the option that was presented. There frankly wasn't someone in your seat that today, where you're doing some due diligence to revisit, and frankly, it's on you and your staff to oversee that portion now. And I do believe with you, Mr. Webster, that there is an opportunity to recoup monies. I think administratively you end up taking that on, but I think it's personally worthwhile. I previously worked there under administration that initiated, such a prior arrangement. So I thank you for exploring that and for working with the current vendor to present a contract that allows us even just a little bit of flexibility. the overall cost gives me, it stresses me when you look at over $800,000 on medical, but I also know that you're working to do all that you could do to even improve that. So,
Well, the upgrades that we've done with medical is to support what Department of Justice is wanting from our facility, and we're hoping that they'll see that as a grave improvement, and that's where we've went to.
Well,
Just make a motion to accept the medical contract from QCHC of Kentucky for the Grand Canyon Detention Center effective July 2019, and also to grant permission to Judge Executive Chuck Deals and Jailer Mike Webster to sign any and all contracts or agreements necessary to bring this forth and to do the no RX to then we'll use the local RX. And I commend you also on the achievements that you've made at the detention center. It's people on the street, even the ones who've been visitors there, not because they wanted to be, are saying that they've seen a great change. That's saying a whole lot when you have a former inmate come out and say that it wasn't as bad as it used to be.
We're just trying to give the county as much service as we can for the service that is needed.
It's a necessary evil, just like a lot of things. It's a necessary service that we have to provide and have to have. And, we're fortunate to have a staff that's dedicated to be looking out for the taxpayers of this county, because that's always been a very sore subject for the taxpayers of the county.
I mean, basically with the RX deal we had before, all those unused pills went back to the distributor, or they were
there's no credit.
disposed of.
Disposed, yeah.
And that's just a tremendous credit that the taxpayers and the
Right.
county was placed in. Now there should be a return back.
And from what I understand, there's literally garbage bags full of unused pharmaceuticals.
Yes.
It was
I'll
just
vouch for that.
Yes,
absolutely,
tremendous amounts.
it was sickening.
Sad. So, I will second Roger's motion.
I have a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving down to Judge Executive Report. This month's been busy even since the last meeting.
I don't think
really?
any day's ever
Just
not busy.
Other than day-to-day operation training-wise, I was able to attend a 2-day training in Lexington for alcohol beverage control training because we distribute the alcohol license. It was very well attended, good training. I actually attended it with 3 of our cities here, had representatives at the training to keep up on it, so we was able to learn a lot from it. Also, all of us attended the planning and zoning training, which was excellent training in Frankfurt at CAECO, so we could come up to speed with what we need to do as a county to support and work with our planning and zoning and things that we need to be looking forward to. Also, last week I attended board member training for North Kentucky Ad District, which was half-a-day training to get up to speed on all the latest laws and rules of the North Kentucky Ad District Board, which is a great board to serve on, and it's a great entity for our state to help distribute out funds to not only our entity, but all entities. And then next week, we'll all be attending the judges
We
and
better not be
magistrates
going to the
conference
jailers conference.
for 3 days training there, which will be a great opportunity to learn. And as you know, if all of you been, and even my background in law enforcement, you've got to constantly go to training to keep up on all the latest laws that our representative present in the room when they create, and we've got a bunch of new laws going into effect 1st July that we all need to be aware of so that we could do our job correctly. So other than that, like I said, I want to commend Shauna again, and along with Peggy and Pat's looked at it. This administrative code is well past due, and Stephen helped get the ordinance and stuff together on it so we could get that implemented. several major, not real major, but one of the biggest changes, the procurement needed to be updated for audit purposes, along with just house cleaning on it. So,
Things that change over 20 years.
yeah, Sean has probably wore out her hands typing, getting all this stuff, so everybody have the opportunity before we do the second reading to go over it even thoroughly. Also, this Airbnb, the short-term rental, in the unincorporated areas, we're the only ones. The cities all had an ordinance in place. We didn't. We're able to get transient room fees from the use of the Airbnbs, and this will give us opportunity to make it legal for the people out in the rural areas to open these short-term rentals, which we all know is providing additional housing for people visiting the Ark, because our hotels are full and the current Airbnbs in the cities are staying full occupied. So I probably left several things out. I know it's been busier than that, but we'll move on down to you, Jacqueline, on anything you want to add to.
I will keep my comments brief. Probably the main update to share, which I'm hoping to get just a little bit more additional clarity before emailing out some of the residents on the south end of the county as it pertains to our bridges. So from the state, we've cycled around a few emails. The South Blanchett Bridge project, as we've indicated the past several meetings, is moving along nicely, even though recognizing the rain that continues to take place. And they are actually scheduled to complete that bridge by August 15th. And if that happens, it's going to be stellar because it will align real close with school starting. In addition to that, the beams in that area the beams for that particular bridge are scheduled to be delivered and begin to be set on June 24th, and so next week. So that's pretty exciting. However, as we follow up on the connector road for North Blanchett to South Delaney, that project is due to be they call it letting for the bidding process, that connector road, because many residents in the area have asked, well, can't we just move that project up? Couldn't we just, it's not a bridge, it's just, bulldozing and things of that nature, but as we all know, there's more to it. And so the state had indicated that they're currently working through a redesign to alleviate railroad concerns for that particular project. For those in the surrounding areas that may not be a part of initial discussions, they've had discussions with property owners out there as it pertains to the connector road, but they're looking like they're going to have to redesign it a little bit. In addition to that, they may have to also renegotiate the timing, and so more to come on the connector road. And
When did you say they're going to let that out? Do you know?
It's supposed to be October,
Okay.
is the scheduled letting for the connector road,
Okay.
with hopes of construction starting winter, spring of 2020. Now, the North project, they had stated, is extremely expensive, and they continue to reevaluate and score for them for the possible inclusion, Ms. Maddox, in the 2020 budget for the state budget, and that in 2008, $2.2 million was allocated to that project, but its estimated cost is currently over $13 million. And so it's not even a comparison as to, at first I thought it was just 13,000, but after reading it's like another set of 3 zeros, and I'm thinking, okay, and so I've also asked Mike from District 6 in Northern Kentucky off of Buttermilk Pike for just a little bit more clarity before I re-email out, because I know several people have reached back out asking for a status update, and I don't want to just give what I think is the latest. I was trying to get some more granularity as to timing and things. So I think in a nutshell, there were two bridges and a connector road, and it looks like the one bridge will likely be finished over the next month. The other bridge kind of up in the air, and the connector road to be determined. So I think it's important for us to stay connected with you, Savannah, and with you, Judge, on continuing to show, that we are, very motivated and passionate about seeing out the second bridge and the connector road. because as those of you know, the Delaney Bridge that was repaired to keep us up for a period of time, we continue to try to monitor that. It also has the 3-ton weight restriction on it that's, not to be anything larger than an F-150, and I think people are abusing that, and the reality is if it continues to deteriorate, they're just going to shut it down. And then Mr. Tatum, although he isn't here this evening, as another update pertaining to that area, Delaney Road, GSI did repair the slippage, and the county is just due to blacktop that part, and then GSI moved their equipment and went to Sipple Road as of yesterday, I believe.
Yes.
And so they're making quick progress, and Mr. Tatum said as soon as they finish Sipple Road that GSI's done for us, and I said, probably just for a bit since it's raining for the next 10 days. And so I think we're doing a good job keeping GSI in business. And so I think we just need to stay close with the District 6 and those in Frankfurt as it pertains to these railroad projects and stuff. Because I didn't realize that some of those were kind of at jeopardy of not continuing on. That's
relatively new information to myself.
Okay, because I wasn't aware until I really read this email just a little bit ago, and I thought, whoa. Okay, so maybe we'll, and I any messages I send, because since it's state stuff and not county, I always try to make sure, to copy you, and so if you ever hear of info, I know that you'll send it our way, just because people are very eager. I mean, frankly, even people that don't live on those roads are eager to know what's happening, whether they've got family there. It's drastically impacting the response time for the Corinth Fire Department to respond to emergencies. And we're heading into month 7 or 8 as it pertains to our challenges.
Yeah.
So I'll just pass it on down the line. That's enough of me.
Okay. Yeah, we did, as Chuck said, attend a planning and zoning training last week, and it was really eye-opening for us, our expectations out of our planning and zoning. We know that we really need to be working hard now on the comprehensive plan, so I think us as magistrates and the judge need to interact more with our planning and zoning to see what we can do to help assist in getting that done. As far as Parks and Recreation, it's in full swing. There was a Little Dippers camp last week, and there was a movie in the park. It seems like it was relatively, well attended. We are working on the Senior Bash. Senior Bash is still going to happen. We're putting things in place. So, I think within the upcoming month or so, you should start hearing more about that. Of course, the Joint Magistrates and Commissions Conference was glad to get the administrative code done. That was one thing that we worked on so hard in even the last term, and now to see it to eventually come to a close and that it's been done, and we hope to diligently more stay on top of that so to not let it get behind. Savannah, we really appreciate you, our state rep, especially being on the transportation committee that you're on. I think I don't think the people of Grant County realize what an asset that is for us, and especially to get $662,000, in discretionary funds to help with roads is fantastic. We do have an upcoming meeting. Chuck and I will be attending next Monday with NKADD. It's the transportation committee that NKADD works on for Grant County and Northern Kentucky. So I'm anxious to see some planning that's being done. We submitted some changes last, I think, February or March, and I'm anxious. Oh, you already got it? Okay, well, good. Maybe you can show me tonight. Anxious to see what changes they've been and see how we can do in Grant County on that. You can go.
Well, my other two partners here have already explained everything, basically, so
You don't
I don't have a
feel
whole lot
bad,
to
Roger.
report on. We are staying busy throughout the county. This continued rain is absolutely continuing to destroy the roads. It's just unbelievable. The road department's just head over heels trying to keep caught up on these low water crossings and these trees that are coming down on the roads.
And the mowing the right of way, just so people
Oh,
know
yeah.
out there that,
Yeah,
It's just,
It's kind of on.
you know,
fall.
they were going good on
Yeah.
getting right of ways mowed, but just the rain has been,
yeah, it's just almost put them at a stall,
Yeah.
you
it's put them
know.
in a stall, and everything that they've mowed needs mowed again already.
yeah,
It's just-
and they're behind.
It's just really been a chore for them. Them guys been doing a great job, though. Anytime I've had any kind of issue, Mr. Tatum's been right on it. Going to training next week, we went to the P&Z training, just like Shauna said. It was an eye-opener, and I'm sure that Chuck's going to be working with our P&Z department to make sure that we are bringing things up to code and doing what's right for the people. That's the main thing, doing what's right. And our first 6 months in office has been good. I think we've all worked together very well.
We've got quite a bit done.
I think we've got a lot done. We've got a ton more ahead of us, no
Yeah,
doubt. But,
we do.
we appreciate the support. We really do. We appreciate the support on the state level. Appreciate our local representative supporting us, being there when we need her. And we appreciate the citizens of the county being concerned. We work for you. You're our boss. And that's what I've said from the beginning. You're our boss, the citizens, and that's what we're here for. And thank you all.
Moving on with reports, the sheriff they're attending a meeting at Crittenden, city council meeting as we speak, so he's not present. Our road supervisor, Steve Tatum, who is normally ever meeting here, he called me earlier and wanted to know if he could be excused. And I know what it is, due to the rain, he's trying to get some farming issues taken care of because
Hey, well, I've
he
already
had a few
texted him. He's
drought-
answering, so.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Just checking on you.
Reason he's not here. Mike, is there anything else you need to add on?
I can just give you a quick rundown on the inmates. There's 45, or as it was. This thing.
Yeah.
Jail tracker.
Well, who does that? The Northern Kentucky?
So there's 41 county inmates, 255 state, for a total of 296.
And you have some more state coming in, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I-
We've got some coming in, and they're coming with mattresses because we've used every mattress we have in the house.
So, bring the purse and bring the mattress with you. So take care of the reports. Savannah, anything you want to get up and touch base with what's upcoming or anything we haven't covered?
I'm happy to. I won't take very long.
Yeah, come on up or get you on the mic and the camera.
Ooh, you okay?
Yeah.
Graceful, huh? No, I'm really excited to be here tonight and to see everybody, and I'm very proud of how things have really taken shape and a lot of the things that you all are accomplishing. And I think it's pretty exciting news that we're going to be getting the $662,000 in discretionary funding. Anytime that you have additional funds to work with to get something done is such a relief. And as you know, we have a lot of roads that need resurfacing, and I field a lot of concerns where people will call, and that's part of what I do, is to be that liaison and to work with the county and then of course with the transportation department to address some of those issues. But kind of what Jacqueline was referring to, Magistrate Riley, earlier, as far as that coming as a surprise about the additional cost of that project, something else that was some new information that kind of came up this week was on the Twin Bridges project and the Baton Rouge Bridge on 22 there. Apparently they are now considering replacing the Baton Rouge Bridge
Instead of repair?
instead of repairing it.
The Baton
So-
Rouge Bridge? Oh, you mean
Yes,
on
on 22.
On
I'm calling it
22,
Baton
on the
Rouge,
state
but
part,
it's-
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
22 right at the bottom of Delia Hill.
Yes.
It's
The one
crumbled.
that's
Oh, so
crumbled.
they-
It's just crumbled.
Yeah, because there for a while, when I kept looking at the letting list and all that, it was, you couldn't tell whether they was really going to replace it or what, and that was the impression that I got, so.
And I think the public was surprised of doing a
Yeah.
facelift to it because,
Versus repair. Or
If you-
and
yeah,
I
if
had
you got-
several from the state tell me that it's still structurally sound.
Yeah, that's what
But,
kept telling
but
us.
yeah, the veneer, concrete, all of it is crumbling bad. It's dropping down onto the Baton Rouge
Yeah.
Road.
Oh, yeah, we've all
And the
seen the
creek.
pictures, and it's pretty astonishing looking to look at, and I think that it was structurally sound, but whenever they were going everything and, looking at the time periods for which it would be appropriate to replace, they're kind of just moving in that direction on that. And
That's good to
Great.
hear.
And Magistrate Coldiron, you're talking earlier about the meeting that we had. They're in the process, they're going to begin scoring that. So I'm glad to know that you all are going down there to meet with them because, we provided our input on which of these projects should take precedent. And, I am hopeful that going into 2020, that, knowing that all funding is very tight right now in the state,
Sure.
we still have to maintain our roads because, frankly, all other types of economic activities that we want to talk about are going to stem from having good infrastructure. So it's just absolutely essential. And just one more thing on the subject of funding. As many of you know, there's been talks of us possibly going into a special session. That is due to the fact that House Bill 358, which was a mechanism for quasi-governmental organizations to opt out of KERS, and Governor Bevin vetoed that in order to create a new proposal that would maybe more holistically address some of the concerns. So it's very possible that the beginning part of July that we will be going into a special. We're not certain at this point because knowing that our special sessions come at great taxpayer expense, we want to make sure that we have all of our bases covered and have the support needed and full understanding of this proposal before we move forward. But frankly, without this rate freeze, these quasi-governmental organizations, which are your regional health departments, behavioral health centers, regional universities, women's rape crisis centers, things of that nature, they're currently paying the 49% rate of payroll. That'll go up to 83, which will cause a lot of the health departments and things to have some very difficult decisions to make. And that deadline is July 1st. So originally we had hopes to have something by then, but at this point I think that it will end up being the first couple of weeks of July if it's going to take place. But again, it's going to have to be something that we know that we can get done. And that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg too with this pension situation. I mean, as you all know, $44 billion unfunded liability. I went to a mayor's meeting on Saturday morning up in Kenton County where they had the director of the retirement systems come up and speak about CERS specifically. And one of the things that was mentioned there was the concerns that counties and cities are having over having done their part and paid in and still feeling the brunt and the fear of the frankly languishing retirement systems in their current condition. So I mean, what I gathered from that, looking at all the facts, and I'm obviously happy to meet with anybody to talk individually about that, but what I gathered from that is that it is so important that we work, that we have a good working relationship between the local and state governments because, we have the responsibility to make sure that we are covering the obligations that have been made with folks that have paid into these systems, but also being able to adapt to the new normal of retirement systems because so much has changed structurally and actuarially. So that was something that I took away from that. And as always, if anybody has any questions for me, please reach out to me directly. I really enjoyed being here for your meeting tonight. Thank you.
Just a question on the July 1st deadline on the quasi. What if nothing is done? Is it going to go to 83%?
It will, and I think that the hope for having it in those first couple of weeks is that in spite of the fact that that rate will kick in, those 2 weeks aren't going to be enough to make or break anybody. But beyond that, I know that a lot of these quasi-governmental organizations are making emergency contingency plans if they were to have to wait until we go into regular session in 2020. So, and as far as the organizations that I personally have met with, Gateway, KCTC, and NKU are supportive of this proposal, as are several of the health departments that we've met with, because they understand that we can't have that rate going up at this point. I mean, yeah, there are going to have to be long-term systemic changes that are made, but in the immediate sense, you have to be able to rise to the occasion and create a stopgap measure, because you can't have folks that are going without the benefits that they were promised, and you also can't have folks losing their jobs because there's no money to pay them. So that's...
Is that going to affect our north, or could it affect our North Key here in Grant County?
I know that the Northern Kentucky Health Department is a it is a different entity than North Key.
Okay.
I'm not entirely certain how they would be impacted. I know Three Rivers would be impacted quite a bit. Now, they're not exactly in this district, but they're over just
Yes.
in Owen County to the west of us. But a lot of these groups are being impacted very differently and disproportionately, because in some of the more developed counties, then they have options available to them where they can, receive other funding. But in these rural areas,
No, there's not.
they're in a tough place.
And North Key, if anyone's ever been out there, I mean, it's really needed. Because, we have no mental health facility at all in the county except through them. So I would hate to see that affected.
Absolutely. Anybody else have a question for me? Thank you. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thanks for coming, Savannah. Okay, moving down, citizens address. Anybody have any comments?
I want to talk,
Okay, yes.
and I will be the end of it.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to ask the fellow over here, how much debt are we in?
The county?
Yes.
I would have to refer to the judge of the debt of the county. I would have to refer to the judge of the debt of the county.
Do you have specific things you want to know that we still owe on, or in total?
I don't care, whatever, anything.
Well,
Well,
What I'm saying is, I know after the Democrats got done, they left us with a big amount of money that we had to pay. New roof, toilet needs to be fixed, I don't know what all, jail. and
We're-
anything more.
we're maintaining, we're financially stable. We're maintaining, yeah, but
Go under?
no.
Okay.
Our biggest financial strengths right now are all the road slippage issues, but we're getting reimbursed on federal and state funds for those.
Stop right now.
Yeah.
I wish you'd have let me talk. That guy that was talking right over here,
The commissioner?
he said he's gonna fix Baton Rouge Road.
We're-
What's he gonna fix?
He's
We're
going to
gonna re-
resurface it.
repave it.
Repave it.
Resurface it?
Uh-huh.
That's where you
Yes.
live.
Yes.
Okay, that's a big plus.
Yes.
Well, also there's now,
Get the bridge.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, that's under a different umbrella.
Yeah.
The bridge is.
The state's going to be fixing the bridge.
State's going to be fixing the.
You know the bridge I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The top is gone.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're,
Yes.
Been
That.
there?
yeah.
Yes. And that
Down
will.
that crooked
Yeah.
road?
Yes.
Now,
Are they gonna widen it any?
but we're getting ready through FEMA, the federal government is paying us to do some fixing along the creek issue.
Okay,
Uh,
you save money. Do you know how much?
Yeah, the FEMA's, I think 26,000 to fix the area down around the creek.
Okay.
Now, as they said, the bridge is getting fixed by the state.
Okay.
And then what the commissioner just mentioned on the discretionary fund money, which is 100% paid to us, is that we're going to be repaving Baton Rouge
Baton Rouge
Road.
Road.
All the rural part, where the city stops,
Yeah.
we're going to be paving down past your house.
Right,
Yes.
Right to the city sign.
Yes.
Go to the city sign.
Yeah, all the way to 22.
The city will take care of the rest.
Yes.
Well, matter of fact, from the city out to that sign, that's in better shape than the rest of
It
the
is.
part.
It is.
Yes.
Okay. You're not gonna widen anything.
Well, not other than, we're going to make it evenly down through it. There won't be any additional where we'll be going. There'll be reditching, graveling, the shoulders, and then paving, I don't know if that's 12 foot.
It needs,
Yeah,
okay.
so,
And I'm sure they'll use up all the money.
so thank her behind you for helping
Yes.
get those funds to us.
Yeah. I've been thanked her a long time.
Yeah, okay.
And they've also recognized a slippage in that area too, and they're.
Yeah,
they're
and
going-
that's-
Yes.
On the All you
Yes.
gotta do is ride down the road.
Yes, yes, it was
Yeah, see, the
identified.
creek's been lifting up the road. When the creek gets up, it lifts up the pavement and
Right.
moves it over onto the property beside it.
Right.
So,
So, but it's on our radar.
Now, I didn't quite get the finances of the jail.
okay.
See, you all don't know it, you all inherited all that.
Yeah, we're fixing it.
And I don't think Darrell Link would ever fix it. Not that I think much of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, he put us in bad shape, Grant County.
Well, we're,
Thing of it, he thought he was doing a good job.
I will assure you that the jailer, Mike Webster, is actually doing an excellent job.
Well, he beat a good guy. I
Yeah.
saw the guy that you beat was good.
Yeah.
He was doing the best he could.
Yeah.
All right?
So, but Mike stepped in, he's doing a good job, and he's maintaining the jail. I mean, the jail is not something we're going to generate additional funds on, but he's in a position to save us money. And that's as he was doing today with some of the issues on the contracts, trying to save money. So, the bottom line is, we're financially stable, we just got a lot of repairs that we're trying to fix. It's just going to take extra time to do it, so.
Listen, I don't know if anybody's ever said a bad word about any of you all. They
Thank
think you're doing a good job.
Well,
Thank you.
good, that's good to hear,
Yeah.
so.
I'm really worried about the high school, Grant County. 50 new teachers they hired last year, in 2018. Of course, that goes into 2019, which just ended.
Right.
50, not 5, 10, 20, 50 new teachers.
It's a lot.
And not only that, some of them quit before the school was out, and they fired a couple. Who suffers?
Yeah. The students.
The students, yes.
Yeah, we say a bunch of dummies. Well, no wonder they're a bunch of dummies.
Yeah.
50 new teachers. Boy, hey, I don't think in the United States, the whole United States, that there's some place where they hire 50 new teachers.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's Grant County.
Oh.
Williamstown don't seem to have that problem.
Yeah.
They had a test last year, I think it was. Williamstown was 25th or 30th in the state of Kentucky on the test. Grant County, they didn't even make it good enough test to register.
Good deal. Well, Phil, thank you.
Oh, hey, I pat you on the back.
Yeah.
Hey, and not only that, half the year's gone already.
Yeah.
I
It went
know.
by quick.
Now, that's something else. Are you planning on going to one meeting a month?
No, we're still 2 meetings.
I was
Oh,
gonna
no,
say,
no,
we
no.
haven't became that efficient yet.
Yeah.
Maybe one day, that'd be nice. No.
Well, that's
Who started that?
well, that's why I'm getting ready to announce we're going to have 2 more meetings before the end of the month. So, yeah, we're not scaling back on meetings.
I think I started that rumor, actually.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah, Stephen.
Well, thanks for being here.
Okay.
And before I adjourn, I'll just announce that, as a reminder, that we'll be meeting, the next meeting will be special meeting held Thursday, June the 20th, 9 a.m. for a second reading and approval of the 2019-2020 budget. And then we'll have a special meeting be held on Friday, June 28th at 3 p.m. to close out the fiscal year. The next regular meeting for the fiscal court will be held on Tuesday, July 2nd, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. So we've got plenty of meetings ahead. I need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
I have a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting is now adjourned.
Well, the thing
Thanks
about-
everyone for attending.
The budget is based on 52, so it'll
Stephen.
say,
No, the budget's based on 280.